Well, it's been a pretty exciting week for Kenyans, and I know you're also excited and you're looking forward to your favorite political show, Mukami. I'd call it a week of figures, numbers, and on this I'm talking about the budget 2018-2019. We are going to talk more about corruption. We are going to call out all those engaged in corruption, and we're also going to figure out on the contraband goods that were netted by the police. Welcome, this is your favorite show, Mukami. On to my first story, we are focusing on the contraband sugar that has been netted. Now, in the last 1 week, as you've seen and watched on news, about 60,000 bags of contraband sugar has been netted by police. Now, can you tell me how comes restricted and prohibited goods find themselves in the Kenyan market? Imported sugar coming all the way from the borders, there should be checkpoints, police checkpoints, who should be checking the kind of goods that are being transported. There should be Kenya Revenue Authority officers who are at the border to check on the customs. The Kenya Bureau of Standards mark was found on that poisonous sugar. Now you cannot tell me that the mark found itself there. There must be officers who are very complicit in their work, or rather they are officers who are taking bribes to make sure that such poisonous substance finds itself in the Kenyan market. And who is suffering? As the common mwananchi. When the CS for Interior, Fred Matiang'i, went to inspect the contraband goods, he said that detectives who are following on this economic crimes trade are receiving threats, and that he is ready to die. Or rather, even the officers themselves are ready to die. We don't need him to tell us that he or the officers are ready to die. We need him to name publicly every person that is involved in this kind of trade, arrest them, convict them, so that Kenyans can start consuming healthy food items. The questions that we as Kenyans are asking ourselves: the Kenya Revenue Authority officers in charge of customs and border control should be able to answer these questions, like how can they let such prohibited items reach the Kenyan market? Could they be the ones aiding this? Who is aiding the movement of illegal cargo on our highways at the points of entry and exit? The Kenya Bureau of Standards should also be held accountable because it's the agency that is charged with quality assurance, inspection, and testing of goods. Now, how these prohibited goods found themselves in the Kenyan market, that's where the question begs. Meanwhile, Kenya has become a tourist attraction, and by this I mean corruption actually has become a tourist attraction. Otherwise, how would you say about Zambian MPs traveling all the way from their country to come into Kenya to learn about corruption? We are so good at corruption that other countries are coming to benchmark with us. Really? Oh my God. I think we should but they should make sure as they come to learn about corruption, they also leave us revenue, because a tourist attraction should be able to attract revenue. We are still training our eyes on the NYS scandal, a scandal involving 8 billion shillings that has allegedly gone into people's pockets. Now there's a new twist to this whole scandal, so that you just know, as a Kenyan from where you sit, that the fight against corruption is very far from being won. Now, specific case is the Ngirita's case. A leading detective who was pursuing the case has been implicated as being one of the business partners with the Ngiritas. The Ngiritas said, or rather the Ngiritas claimed that Muya has been an alleged business partner, and that the two have been trading with the National Youth Service since 2014 through his company, Jerikadhi Enterprises. Sasa, this is a replica of a case whereby unaachia mbuzi wako fisi, and you know the fisi atamaneuver your mbuzi. There's no way a detective can be implicated, or rather can take up a case that he's supposed to pursue, but he's the one who is implicated in it. They are business partners. That case is going nowhere. Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta is talking tough, saying that all those engaged in corruption should face the law. In fact, just a few days ago, he said that he himself, as the first public servant, is willing to undergo a lifestyle audit, together with his deputy, together with his CSS, the PSS, and any other elected leader. But the fight against corruption can't stop just at the lifestyle audit. We've had too much talk. In fact, the president has, absolved himself from blame and seems to push the blame to other agencies like the EACC, which is very incompetent. Like the Auditor General, he once spoke the Auditor General, where the Auditor General said that corruption is engulfing the whole country, and all of us are going to be engulfed in corruption. In fact, he said, mnataka nifanye nini? Like he had given up. So as the wananchi, the president is asking us what we think he should do about corruption. He himself is here talking about he's here doing tough talks about corruption, but yet he knows what he needs to do. He just needs to crack the whip on the people, because he has very close people who have been implicated in corruption. Another thing that is making us become so pessimistic on the war against corruption is the Nordin Haji, who is the deputy public prosecutor, saying that he doesn't have enough evidence. He doesn't have enough evidence to bring up a case on anyone who's been found engaging in corruption. What does that tell us? That the fight against corruption is and will not go anywhere. So you know that the fight against corruption is going nowhere. I'm going to read you a tweet by one of the prominent Kenyan lawyers, that is Donald Kipkorir. He tweeted this just after the budget was read, and he said, I quote him, "DPP is given a gross budgetary allocation of 3 billion shillings. In NYS, 9 billion was stolen. NCPB, 2 billion was stolen. Ketraco, 6 billion. Raraka land scandal, 3.2 billion. Cartels can finance their own DPP departments and remain with substantial profits. No country wins any war with less treasury, and that's sabotage." End of quote. So this tweet now connects me to the next topic, whereby we are focusing on the 2018-2019 budget. The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission has been given a budget of 2.9 billion. The Assets Recovery Agency has been given 161 million. That is down from what they were given last year. I'm going to be specific on the budget items, and one is the budget allocated for the rehabilitation of the Nairobi River. So the CS Treasury, Mr. Rotich, has allocated 800 million for the rehabilitation of the Nairobi River. Now this one brings me to the discussion, especially on the Nairobi Regeneration Program. This is a program, or rather it was an initiative that has been put in by President Kenyatta, a few of his cabinet secretaries, plus the Nairobi County government. The committee came out to the public and said that if they are not going to have started these activities in 1 month, they should all resign. If you walk in town, or rather if you walk in the places that I've mentioned, Mama Lucy Hospital, if you walk in the Bagadi Hospital, you will not find any new thing that the president told these people to do. So our budget for 2018-2019 was read out on Thursday. And as you can clearly see, the budget is going to become a burden on me, the common mwananchi. Why am I saying so? The basic commodities, foodstuffs, the prices of all those commodities have shot up. That the government is passing the tax burden on common mwananchi, while we have a lot of money circulating out there, but on a few individuals just up there. Bottom line is, we as a poor people, we are not going to have enough left for us to eat. And you know who we are going to eat? We are going to eat you, the rich, corrupt people who are taking our money. Thanks so much for tuning in on Mukami, your favorite show. Like and subscribe, and also click on alert notifications. See you next time. Bye.